if you are thinking about going to West Point, the biggest thing to do is just find a passion and then go for it at 100 miles an hour. Your application process really begins from the moment you realize you want to go to West Point. When you should really start opening your file is your junior year of high school. If you start later, that's perfectly fine, but it just gives you a little bit more to do with a little bit less time. The first step is just going online. So you can find so much information off just going to usma.edu, and they'll have information on how to apply, how to get into the junior summer program. So as a junior in high school, you can go to a summer program that West Point holds, and it basically shows you what a week in the life of a cadet is. And that was the first step for me, was applying for that, and it's called Summer Leadership Experience, SLE. As a freshman, you have formation at 6:30, which is kind of like an assembly where they check attendance, and then you have mandatory breakfast, and then you have classes from 7:30 to 4 p.m. And after that, you have company athletics or your core squad sport. And core squad is just the D1 program at West Point. And after you finish whatever your sport is, you'll go into either whatever club you have, or you'll start homework around 7:30 p.m., which will go to 11. And then plebes will have, or freshmen, we call them plebes, will have trash duties. And that's pretty much the day. If you're an upperclassman, you just won't have to do the duties that the freshmen have to do. So the summers are primarily dedicated to military training. So for example, this summer I'll be going to CFT1, which is cadet field training. So lots of weapons training, lots of military tactics and things of that nature. One interesting thing about West Point is that it's tuition free. So I didn't have to pay a dime really to get into college, and I get paid right now as well. So that was something to consider, but it was definitely not the reason that I chose to go to a military school. Going back to it, the main reason is just the challenge and the opportunity to just have so many new opportunities open to me, like being able to study abroad, being able to lead soldiers, and just being able to overcome different things in my life that I never knew were possible. Academically, it offered a high course load. It challenges you socially. You don't get to choose your roommates, so you have to learn to cooperate with people from all different kind of backgrounds. I guess it also gives you almost a spiritual challenge. Depending on what you believe, you really have to figure out something to rely on. So that was definitely a challenge, but it's been a great experience. The reason that one should decide to go to West Point is if they really have a desire for challenge and for service. And it sounds cliche, but if you know that you want something a little bit different than the average college experience, then West Point has it to offer. But it's a commitment that you can't really see until you get there. There's a five-year commitment after you graduate to serve in the Army, and that might lead you overseas, or you might have a staff position somewhere in the States. But the one thing that you can be guaranteed is leadership, and you will be in charge of soldiers, and that's what I really was looking for. So I think if you want leadership, if you want to make a difference in young soldiers, then West Point is definitely the place to go, and it offers that opportunity very well.